But the other big thing I wanted to at least get into is a couple other things, but the other big one was AJ Lee's first promo in, I think it was like just over 10 years. I think they said I think it was like March or April of 2015 was when she left the company. So it's
been a while.
It was. But and I for a first promo back and to be able to actually like pull along the storyline and further things along, I thought it was great. Little long, but I mean the crowd was cheering her the whole time. I mean, the first time we ever heard a therapy chant in anything. That was, but they were listening to what she was saying. They were into the moment. They were invested, and I thought that was, I mean, like, obviously we knew they were going to be, but, I think it's cool to see. It's also one of my favorite things about returns. That's why I think like the best return probably of all time was Edge at the Royal Rumble in 2020. And for me, it's because they can be in those characters, they can have those moments, but there's there's a couple of times where you can see it in their eyes or just their face kind of drops where they just have that moment where they're just a human being and they're just like, this is fucking amazing. Like, this is
I did get a kick out of her line. If you're wondering why your millennial parents are freaking out.
That was good. That was good. Yeah, no, she was fun. And like being able to, talk about who and I thought it was smart where she was able to put herself over, but in kind of like, self-deprecating a little bit with it, but still being cool. And I thought it was done well. And then, Becky coming out with the black eye. Cause like we said on Spaces, none of those punches landed. I mean, you could tell she was trying to like punch her hand and not Becky, but she hit Becky a few times. But, I thought it was good to have Seth coming out in his tucked in cowboy boots. I'm not sure what that was about, but I'm never sure what Seth's gear's about, but that's the
Nike cowboy boots, which I don't think they actually made.
I didn't realize that. Holy shit. I didn't.
I just picked up on that too. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's don't apologize. I missed that. And I'm glad I'm not like a sneakerhead, but I like a good comfortable shoe. I wear size 13, so it's important for me to have comfortable footwear. I didn't know those were Nikes. That's great. That's, I mean, hey, there's some money invested into what he wears. He only ever wears this shit once. It was nice to, speaking of shoes, good to see AJ back in her Chuck Taylors. Everyone was like, oh, she was in Vans at the show. I'm like, did she wrestle in Chuck Taylors? Only she has to wear Chucks every time.
I was kind of hoping when she came to the ring, she would not skip to the ring.
I mean, I
understand. I mean, I get it, but she should be mad at Becky and Seth.
Right,
you gotta be mad. You don't gotta be skipping to the ring. You can skip to the ring.
But she's crazy, so it's like it's more. At first, it's head games, and then B, she snaps.
You know where I'm going, though.
I get you 100%. Yeah. I do, because I agree with you on that. With Bianca, sometimes when she skips to the ring, when she should be mad. The thing about AJ is, it wasn't like it was always like wasn't a happy skip. It was kind of like a scary skip. Like you're like, this bitch is fucking crazy skip. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll defer to you because I wasn't interested in her the first time around. So I never saw much of it.
So
I'll give it to you.
The way I look at it was, it's more of like that kind of like, I remember that Simpsons episode where like Bart's flying a kite at night and Marge is just like, there's something wrong about that. Hello, mother dear. Like it's that, like, and that's where, as long as she still does that, like where she immediately like snapped on Becky and just starts fucking attacking her with it and going crazy, as long as it's within that realm, it works with it. Now, I feel like at least the first night she kind of had to, because that was her gimmick, but I
understand that
coming from with it too.
You know what would work for me? Since you mentioned The Simpsons, if you had her skip to the ring with some like psychotic music with her, a new entrance theme or something.
That could work.
Like she's psycho. I don't know.
That could work.
Like I said, I don't remember her first run that well. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there wasn't a lot of good about that time in the WWE anyway, her or anyone else with it. But I mean, and I could see them, like her music, you had to come back with the initial music, but maybe they need to.
We'll see how it goes.
But it was fun. I'm glad they set up the match. WrestlePalooza, for having the worst name in history, is setting up to be a goddamn fun show, which it has to be. I mean, ESPN's going all in. I saw a picture of ESPN's TV lineup going into WrestlePalooza. Like on like every channel, they're having at different points, like the WrestlePalooza special or Road to WrestlePalooza. Like
Did you know when you just said WrestlePalooza goes all in? Did you realize that was their code for the tickets?
No, I didn't.
All in. Pretty funny.
It's, you know, I mean, I know I shouldn't laugh at the pettiness, but it makes me laugh. It just does. I mean, because again, when you call people bald assholes, and you know,
I guess they're gonna lay off it now.
Here's the thing. As I've said with that whole thing, like, first, if they're gonna do it, it should be more or almost all NXT, because let's be real, that's where the competition is. But I've also said before, like, if they're looking at a calendar, right? You know, like, let's say in June, they're looking at the September calendar and they can do WrestlePalooza on the 13th, 20th, or 27th. And they know that the 20th is going to be like, why wouldn't you pick that weekend? You know what I mean? Like, I get, you know what I mean? Like, now, if they're like purposely like, oh, we had it booked for the 27th, you know, we had to change venue, move it around to make it happen. Okay, that's stupid. Like that's overkill. But if it's one of those things where it's like, well, why wouldn't we? I don't blame them. But
I think they made their point.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and yeah, but also, yeah. And if I get with NXT, because I also don't think that, like, hey, book NXT how you want to do your shows. If it happens to compete against them, fine. But I wouldn't worry about it, because kind of like I tell AEW that they should do is focus on your own house, get your own shit up, and get your own shit working. Which
you've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. The other thing that I really just wanted to touch on a Raw with it was, you know, and I think it's a red herring that they're making it seem like Jey Uso is possibly turning heel and acting more like Roman. I think it's to end up turning LA Knight heel, because I think that needs a refresh with it, but I'm not sure. But I thought it was a fun way to end the show, and at least something intriguing, you know, going in with this storyline, and Jimmy kind of being like, what you doing? You're acting like Roman. It's interesting to me. I think it's fun. I think it's something at least different, kind of showing Jay's range as opposed to just being the Yeet Man.
Need something to refresh him a little bit. It's getting a little old.
And I kind of think LA Knight does a little bit too, where he's still over and it's great. But if they're not going to put a belt on him, and like the belt on him, you need some kind of refresh so he doesn't get stale and kind of get lost in the shuffle with it. Because he is over and he's great, but
there's been a couple, like, there's been a bunch of these where they've had it right there and they didn't take it. I can't figure out why. I really can't.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's one of the, it's also, but sometimes it's one of those things too, where it's like, you know, there's only so much world title to go around, even that you have two of them, but how big these rosters are, how deep they are, how they've made a lot of stars now. It was one of the problems 5-6 years ago. There wasn't as many stars. Now they might have a few too many, you know, terrible, you know, horrible problem to have. I know, but
it sucks, but you got to strike. We talked about it with LA Knight. I mean,
we have. And
Cross was the same way. They had it right there. They didn't take it.
Yeah. But it's also,
we keep saying it.
Yeah. I get in that hard point of like, where do you do? Because I mean, with the world title picture though, like, is he in that level of those stars? Like, you know, where you've got CM Punk and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and you know what I mean? Like, maybe, but then maybe, I mean, and if he goes for the IC belt, like, that's great, but is that what he wants? Because he puts himself up there. It's a tough situation for sure.
Yeah.
Which is where I think maybe a heel turn would be good. Just attack everybody, talk shit, be mad. I don't know. Give me something with it.
Something.
We'll see.
Something.